This is Eagles Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Barrett Brooks, Ron Jaworski, Jason Avant, Reuben Frank. I'm Michael Barkann. Over to the link in just a moment to hear from all the guys after a 24-15 Eagles loss. Remember that back-to-back Lombardis we were talking about? I don't think this thing's getting fixed. We were talking in the pregame program about whether or not Dallas has a shot at the division title, and we agreed probably not. Don't count them out, because next week the Eagles are at Los Angeles to play the 7-4 Chargers. That might be 8-4 because they're playing the Raiders coming up on Sunday. 2 8-4 teams. They lose that one, they're 8-5. I know, Jaws, you like to take one game at a time, but when you look at the remaining 5 games in the schedule, they're going to the playoffs. We know that. But
well, don't be so sure of that.
You don't. Well, you know what? There's a song for that. It's beginning to look a lot like 2023. Yeah. Everywhere you go. Barrett Brooks, what do you think?
This is just not a good football team. You know, we got beat up front. You know, the undisciplined play. Our trenches, you know, it's about trench warfare. Who's going to be the bigger man? And right now, Chicago, they were the bigger men. They went up there and whooped Art up front. I mean, totally just pushed us around. I mean, in the first half, the first quarter, I haven't seen a team give up 130-something yards in the first quarter. They ran the ball when they wanted. In fact, I'm looking at them like, all right, why are you throwing the ball? All you got to do is just keep running it. They'd have blown us up. So it was crazy. That was ridiculous.
The Chicago Bears, 47 rushes, 281 yards. I thought it was the 85 Bears out there with Walter Payton and Matsui who they were running through us. It was embarrassing. And, you know, we've always defended Vic Fangio for a long time. That defense was not prepared for what Ben Johnson and the Bears threw at us.
Yeah, what about that offense? How about that, Jason?
Well, it wasn't just that they were able to defeat us with physicality. It was with scheme. They were putting guys in motion. Guys were going back across the line of scrimmage, going opposite of each other. It seemed like the defensive ends didn't know that they were going left or right or whatever. And so it kept them honest the entire game with how many reverses, jet sweeps, so many things that they were doing. It kept them honest. And now there was huge lanes through the middle, and the double teams were working. They didn't have an answer for duo. Duo was 2 double teams. They were doing it pretty much the entire game. And, you know, talk about Manungai knocking guys out. Like, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
Reuben, this is the most rushing yards against the Eagles since when?
Most rushing yards against the Eagles since 1973.
1973.
Yeah, and the most in Philadelphia since 1962. You can't call yourself a championship team and give up almost 300 rushing yards. I don't know what's more disappointing, the defense or the offense. I mean, the offense has been bad all year. We kind of had hope that the defense could carry the team. They certainly didn't today. And I'll tell you what, I think we saw what a real offense looks like. An offense that's efficient and unpredictable and plays creative, inventive, and keeps you off balance. We haven't seen that on this sideline. We saw it on the other one.
Let's take a look at the team comparison today. There really is no comparison between the Eagles and the Chicago Bears. 24-15, the Birds go down. 85 plays to 51. Look at the first downs. They double the Eagles. The total yards, 425. The rushing yards, you just heard the statistics from Reuben, 281 to 87. The passing yards, the Eagles had them, but they're passing trying to keep up, and that was difficult. 2 turnovers, and one of them was right after they had forced a turnover.
The Bears did have a turnover.
The Bears had 1 turnover. The Eagles had forced 1.
Yeah. I didn't see this coming. I had us scoring 35 points in this matchup. I thought we'd win the game going away.
Why?
I did not see this coming. I just felt the coaches throughout Nick's tenure here have made the adjustments. I think it's a good staff. I think we have good players. Our defensive line, we've invested in that defensive line, got mauled. I mean, I'm taking notes down. Old school football, power football, bully ball. That's what was going on. We were getting bullied. We got beat up. We got pushed around and took it.
Yeah.
And took it.
Set no edges.
You know, where's some anger in that defense? Where's some anger for these offensive linemen? I didn't see it.
Right.
You know what it seemed to me like? The defense almost sensed that the offense was so hopeless that it seemed like they played like they had given up. And that's a really bad thing to see.
But as Jason said, the way their offense played, the misdirection,
Oh, yeah.
the way they opened up. It seemed like the Eagles defense was just wide open.
Well, it's a masterclass in keeping the defense off balance, right? You're talking about play actions. You're talking about naked. The quarterback is running. Third downs, having guys in different positions. They were able to catch that a few times on the first third down. They were able to put the tight end outside, notice that they had a one-on-one inside with the safety. They would have had a free corner route, Sidney Brown on Rome Dunze on a corner route in the end zone, but the wind batted the ball down itself, right? It was just a bad throw. Wind batted it down, right? So this could have been way worse. We were lucky because it was bad weather.
Yeah.
We were lucky. Like literally, this game would have been 40-something to, in the 10-16 or whatever it was we scored. That's what the game should have been.
And you talk about, scheming and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you the truth. It's just a plain old inside and outside zone that just fiberglassed me. I mean, you're talking about guys coming off the rock on the backside, double teaming, and then the tight end coming out, and he didn't even cut the end. He had the end looking like, it's a pass and a run, and he just ran right up the middle, untouched. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about, chunk yard is 15 yards here, 12 yards here, 5 yards here. It was unbelievable how well they controlled the line. I thought Wright should have put his name in Canton, where he was dogging people out in this game. Their right tackle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was crazy how physical they were compared to our defense. And then we put in Navajo. We call it Navajo. We call it,
5 down.
5 down. When you cover both guards in the center. So we put them in there so you can have one-on-one blocks. Oh, it didn't matter because they started driving one-on-one blocks and still making it to the secondary, and run right up the middle. I didn't understand it. Looking at them, Swift almost looked like Charlie Garner. That's how good he looked.
I can't wait till I get a chance to research the next-gen stats on this game. Yards before contact from their running backs. Yards before contact, before someone touched them. It'll probably be 6 or 7 yards before someone touched them. So that's total domination.
Really what's concerning is, they were more physical. They were just a more confident team.
Yeah.
The Eagles used to be such a confident. They would go out there and you'd think that they had the game won before it even started because they just had such a belief in themselves and their coaches and the scheme and just none of that. As soon as Swift and the Rutgers kids started getting those big runs, it's like they just fell to pieces. Where's the fight? Why don't they fight back a little bit?
Yeah, well, Monangai, every time he touched the ball, almost got 6 yards per carry. And Swift, the Philadelphia kid from St. Joe's Prep, almost got 7 yards every time he ran the ball. And as a whole, 6 yards per carry for the Chicago offense. Yeah. 6 yards.
Sometimes the defense needs help. And the defense is going out there, man. We've been on the field the entire game. Can we get something more than 3 and out? And before you know it, that defense gets a rest and you get a better shot to win this game. But they're looking at the offense like, dude, you guys not upholding your end of the bargain for games on end. This is not just this game. This is pretty much the entire season. And eventually, you have games like this where the team is getting hit with uppercuts. Eventually they're going to fold. They're going to fall down, take a knee.
Next week is the same way because, we know Harbaugh likes to run the rock.
Yeah.
And
that's there.
He'll play the
Monday
same kind of game, physical game.
Take a look at the playoff picture right now in the NFC, and the Eagles have fallen to the number 3 seed ahead of Tampa Bay, the wild cards in Seattle, Green Bay, and San Francisco. The Lions are in the hunt. Of course, the Cowboys have won 2 games, including against the Eagles in the last 4-5 days now, and Charlotte at 6-6, the Carolina Panthers. I guess looking back on it now, and I know hindsight's 20/20, why didn't we think that this was going to befall the Eagles, as they've lost now 2 straight for the second time this season, multiple losses consecutively. It's the same as it was, struggling to run the ball, not trying to run the ball more.
We believe in this team, though. We believe in it. Sometimes we buy into what the coaches say because they're doing what they have to do. They're selling to their team as well as to us. Hey, we're a championship football team. And they still are the world champions. They still are. They're not dethroned yet. I'm not going to give up yet, but these last couple of weeks have been just devastating performances.
They were 8-2 5 days ago.
Yeah.
So, there was no reason. It looked like a house of cards a little bit in some ways. The offense wasn't doing much, but they were winning games, and you just kind of felt like they would keep doing it.
The defense decided not to show up.
And my thing is that you just played this style of offense 2 weeks ago. and they had the best game defensively that they had all year. So I'm thinking to myself, this is a similar offense. Our defense should go out there and be able to dominate this team and have some type of success. I didn't think that they were going to get, just slapped around the entire time, just slapped and didn't do anything about it. Just take a slap and look the other way.
Didn't do anything about it. Let's go across the street and check in with Dave Zangaro in his gorgeous Glen plaid coat. Dave, a couple of things, my friend. One, the fans, the vibe in that stadium, as they showed on the telecast, the fans were leaving early, which they will do if in their view, there's no hope of coming back. And then Jalen Hurts. We really haven't talked about his performance. Take them anyway, in any order you want. But Jalen Hurts, what did you think of how he performed tonight?
Yeah, I'll get to Jalen Hurts in a minute. But, the fans leaving early, they could have left at halftime. I mean, that was as bad a performance we've seen in a really long time. And this is the first time I've stood here after a game, and I'm not so sure the answers are there. And that's a scary place to be. I know there's a lot of season left, but this is the first time I watched this offense especially, and they just don't have it right now. You watch the other side of the field today, and you see an offense that has a plan, that is able to scheme up lesser talent, and you see an offensive line that is what the Eagles want to have. It's what they used to have, just maulers up front and all the scheme that went into the misdirections in that run game, and it's just stuff the Eagles do not have right now. And as far as Jalen, he didn't play well in this game. He has the 2 turnovers. The fumble on the tush push is a tough play, but in a moment where you just absolutely cannot fumble the football, he does. And he was just off all night too, but he's just one problem in a lot of problems in this game.
Yeah. Is there any excuse to be made whatsoever, and I know it was the same for both teams, for the win, which caused Jake Elliott to miss 2 field goals, which caused passes to flutter? Caleb Williams certainly got more from his running game than he did from his passing attack, although he did have a touchdown pass at the end. Thoughts on how much difficulty the win presented?
Look, conditions are conditions. Both teams played in them. I don't think anyone watched that game and thought, man, if it wasn't windy today, the Eagles win that one. I don't think anyone is thinking that. This is a team that should be able to run the football. They want to be able to run the football. These are conditions where you should be able to do that, and they just couldn't do it anywhere near the level that the Bears did. So, I don't think anyone thinks the win had anything to do with that, Michael.
Dave, thanks so much. Appreciate it. We'll check back with you a little bit later. Dave Zangaro telling us about the weather conditions and that if it wasn't windy, wouldn't have made a difference. All right, my friend, we'll check you in the locker room and certainly on NBC Sports Philadelphia.com. MVP of the game presented by PGW. We got 2 MVPs. And you can say offensive line, but they often opened holes for Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift, the pride of St. Joe's Prep. 18 carries. Is that...
He had 18.
Yeah, 18 carries for DeAndre Swift.
Nobody's running for 125 on 8 carries against this team.
Well, don't be so sure.
Yet.
So we thought there was just one side of the ball to be fixed, and that was the offensive side. Now we've got both the defense and the offense. It looks like.
Add special teams to it too.
Yeah.
Add special teams to it too.
With Britton Covey coming back,
we don't do anything right. And you might as well just add the coaching too. You see that our offense isn't working. What do you do to counter what other teams are doing to us? The same old game plan just doesn't work anymore. And I'm not a big guy on saying, all right, I'm a tar and feather, KP. I'm not going to do that. But right now, I'm looking around for my tar right now. This is horrible. This doesn't make any sense. Yes, I know your offensive line is not as healthy as others, so you do something to protect those guys. You got to counter it. You got to have something in your repertoire saying, all right, we've got to do something else because this is not working.
I think that their offensive issues go so far beyond the O-line being injured there's no plan.
None whatsoever.
There's no, and I thought Saquon actually had some good runs today. I think he averaged 4.5, which is, for the way the years go. He had 13 carries and he threw it 34 times on a windy day. I just don't get any of it. I don't get anything about what this offense is trying to do, what they're trying to lean on, what their plan is. I just don't get it.
Jason, is it time to make a change? They have an extra day.
I don't necessarily know. When I look at this game, just watching it I thought guys were open. I thought there was a lot of plays where guys were open. Now, was it the win? Was Jalen just off? What have you? We don't know that. But the truth is, in this particular game, there were guys open. Now, when you talk about the frequency, third downs, like when you have, how many third downs do we have? Like when you go 1 for 3 for 14.
4 for 14 first downs.
Yeah.
They were 4 for 12 on third down. They had 14 first downs.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're awful on third down, it's going to be hard to generate any offense, right? And there was time they had plays, just didn't convert them.
Yeah. I think what happens when you're successful, like we've been successful, we're the defending world champions, you begin to believe that it's going to come back. Mm-hmm. The magic's going to come back. Throw the sprinkle dust on there, and it's all going to come back because we know what we're doing. Players and coaches, we know what we're doing. We don't care what you guys on TV think and on radio think. We know what we're doing. We're world champion coaches. We will solve this. It hasn't happened. They need to make some changes. I'm not saying changes in personnel, but the approach to the game. We saw a very efficient Chicago offense. I mean, that was a darn efficient offense, throwing and running. Although they didn't have big yards in throwing the football, they were efficient in throwing the football.
What changes
we need some
would
of
you
that
make?
creativity. I would go to more motion. I'd go to more picks and rubs, more man beaters. And we seem just running the same plays over and over again. I don't see creativity in the offensive scheme. Now, I know it does, some of that impacts play calling, but where's the creativity in this offense? We were so good with our offensive line for many years. We didn't care what. We could run anything. We're going to blow people off the ball.
Yeah.
But we can run anything we want. But not anymore. Now we got to be creative. Now we're going to find out if we really have good coaches and creative coaches.
Well, we know Coach Stalin doesn't like the run motions and things of that nature because once you bring somebody and you cross where the center is and he goes to the other side, it changes how the offensive line calls their offense. So they don't like that. It makes them uncomfortable. I don't care about you being uncomfortable anymore. You got to do whatever it takes to win. You're talking about, you got to win, win is the first priority. I didn't see winning football out there. I didn't see anybody out there taking it to that next level knowing I'll take it upon myself to go out there and win this game. I mean, I think AJ tried to when given opportunity, but there was just too many others that did nothing to help their cause of winning.
And I also think Jalen is a quarterback that doesn't like motion, doesn't like movement. He likes static. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong because every quarterback's different. Peyton Manning, he loved the static defense as well because you just read one area of the field that you want to attack. And when you run motion, it always changes. So it depends on the quarterback. But I still believe we need to get to some formation variation, motions, things that are creative to take advantage of one-on-one matchups.
We have left out the key name here, though. It seems as if Nick Serriani is letting this offense die on the vine. This offense that had been prolific and just continued to dwindle away till now they're 3 and out more than they're not. I mean, how much does the head coach bear responsibility? You were mentioning KP. You're not going to get on him.
A lot.
You got to get on the head coach.
Absolutely.
It's his team.
It's his offense. And we can't lose sight. KP is the one calling the plays. This is Nick's offense. And a lot of the issues we're seeing also we saw with Kellen Moore running the offense. We saw, with Shane Steichen at times early on, with Nick running the offense in 21. Certainly with Brian Johnson running the offense. So we've seen the same things, the same frustrations over and over with different play callers. Because Nick's offense, look, they've won a lot of games with it, and, it works, but there's times it looks really ugly.
But those offenses were top 10 offenses.
Yeah.
This team came in today ranked 25th in offense. That's unheard of, the way this team played the last several
for the
seasons.
quote-unquote talent that we have.
Yeah. Tom Brady said yesterday during the games of Thanksgiving Day, he said, by November, you know what you have. Jaws, what do they have in this team? Because it's not what we had in September, that's for sure.
Well, we found inconsistency on the offensive side of the football. And then now we find out on defense we have inconsistency after that performance today. So there are now some major issues that have to be cleaned up really quick. You mentioned going to play the Chargers next week. They're a physical, violent team. They play Harbaugh, Michigan football. They're going to get after him.
Oh, don't get him going now.
You know what we got? We got that old car that may start some days, it may not start. That's what we got. That's offensively and defensively. We got that car that's not dependable. It may start, may not.
The old school Chevy.
And I saw, and even on the defensive line, I saw guys just trying to jump gaps, trying to make something happen. And you do that because you want to stop the bleeding. You got to stay in your gap. You got to play gap discipline. You can't just jump somewhere and go somewhere. You get up the field, come inside. They were, if they wanted to capture the outside, they just had a tight end blocking our defensive ends. They got no penetration up the field.
That is a great statement.
That's ridiculous to me.
That is a great statement because we were taking the cheese. They were dangling slinging that cheese out there with all that formation, variation, and motion, and we were taking. Also, I'm going to make a play here. Rather than play with the design of the defense and the scheme, you tried to make plays. They were going for the cheese, man.
Well, the thing that they do in their offense is basically attack the backside end. So they'll run a motion at him. Either he'll base block him, they cut up inside of him, or then the next time he'll log him inside, they run on a jet sweep. Yep. And then they'll stun him, they'll fake him, and then run to the flat. So they're playing a game with the backside defensive end the entire game. Right. So before you know it, you get to the fourth quarter, the guy doesn't know what to do, and he's just sitting there like, I don't know which one, I'm going to be wrong. Right. Jalix did get him. Right, because they were playing the game, they got him with the pick, so they played through it. But it's hard when you're getting that much push up within the line of scrimmage with the guards, and then you have the defensive end that's nullified. It's hard.
Well, you know what though? I mean, when you say that, I think about this: play what the defense is supposed to do. If you're in charge of being that guy, get up the field. Get up the field. Now, if something happens after that, that's not your fault. That's not your play. You got to have somebody from the backside, the other linebacker, come up and make the play. That's not your gap. Don't jump in that gap. And too many times, like you said, you took the cheese and went inside, and they ran outside. Too many times you went up the field, looked, and they brought two people at you. Do what you're supposed to do. If you got to take that inside guy. Let somebody else make a play where they're supposed to be.
I just saw a lot of guys getting pushed around, getting knocked down, missing tackles. I just saw guys who just couldn't match the Bears' physicality on both sides of the line.
We just got a call from across the street. They want to know what you guys are doing during the week.
I'm available.
You're all available, Howie. Nick, we'll take a quick break. We come back, we will hear from Nick Serriani, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, all the principals in a real rough, might be the worst game of the season for the Eagles. They did not meet the moment.
Giants was worse.
Giants was worse.